If you're looking for the best audio interface for your podcast streams or content creation, then the RodeCaster Pro is the device for you, especially if you have a podcast. So let's kind of get into it. Now, before we jump into why I think this is the best audio interface for podcasting and a really good option for people who are live streamers or people just making YouTube content or other content in general, let's kind of take a look at what the device actually can do. And then I'll give my thoughts on why I think those options are really good for podcasting and why they could be good options for other content as well. Firstly, the RodeCaster Pro allows you to connect up to 4 XLR mics, control their gain separately, control all of their EQ and effects separately, as well as even record all of their audio separately for better control in post. Now, the RodeCaster Pro also makes it really simple to connect Rode mics to the audio interface as well, as you can select the Rode mic that you have connected to the device and it will set it up for you perfectly, meaning you don't have to struggle with a lot of gain setup, as you can just plug it in, select the mic that you have, and then add the EQ as needed. Now, the RodeCaster Pro also allows you to connect external audio sources via an auxiliary cable or via Bluetooth, which is a really cool feature, especially for people who have podcasts who make a lot of calls, as you can connect your phone via Bluetooth and you can have all of your calls go directly into the audio device without you having to use external recorders or some other way or form. You can just easily connect your phone via Bluetooth and have all of your calls go directly into the device, and you control all of that audio as well with its own separate fader. Now, thirdly is the sampler buttons. The RodeCaster Pro has 8 sampler buttons as well as a bunch of different banks, meaning you can have 8 different sounds per bank. So if you have a lot of sounds that you want to connect to your device, you can do that. But all those sampler buttons can be used for any audio that you want, whether that be intro or outro songs for your podcast, or funny clips, or even just random sounds that you want to play to help add comedic effect or just add some noise to your streams, your podcasts, or your live content. Now, what's great about the sampler as well is it also has its own separate fader, meaning that you can easily fade in and out. Let's say you have your intro song playing, you can easily fade that out as soon as you start talking to really just glide into the show, as well as fade it in if you're doing an outro. So as soon as you stop talking, you can easily just fade in that noise to make it sound a little bit more professional and a little bit more high end. Now, the RodeCaster Pro is a USB device, meaning that you can connect it to your PC or your laptop using a USB cable and connect it to the Rode Connect app, giving you a few more features as well as the ability to record directly to your PC or laptop. But one of the coolest features is actually the ability to record to a memory card, which you can plug into the RodeCaster itself, meaning that you don't even have to connect it and you can record directly on the device itself. Now, another cool feature, as mentioned before, is the ability to do multi-track recordings, meaning you can record all of your audio sources separately. So if you have somebody or something that is maybe too loud or too soft, you can easily change that in post, as well as the fact that you can easily remove audio if you didn't want it, or if it was distracting or it didn't actually fit in. You can easily go into post and remove those audio sources, or even add different EQ and compression to make it sound even better without you having to struggle and to worry about all of your audio sources before you start recording. Now, I also like the fact that there is a touchscreen interface, which makes it a little bit more easy, but all of the steps are really easy to get set up, meaning that even if you just start out or you've done this for years, you can connect your Rode mic to this really easily, have it set up, have it sound professional without you having to struggle too much with the audio interface. Now, for all of the above reasons, I really feel that this is the perfect audio interface for podcasts, because you have multiple mic inputs, meaning that even if it's not just you, or if you have a lot of guests, or if you have a lot of people, you can always have multiple mic inputs. You have the ability to add audio sources to your sampler, whether that be your intro music or just sound clips in general. The ability to actually connect to external devices like a phone to actually have your phone calls go directly into the mixer itself. And then, of course, the ability to actually record on the mixer, making it easy to travel around, meaning that if you go on a holiday or if you have to go to someone else, you can easily just take the audio interface, grab a few mics, grab a memory card, and record wherever you are. Now, why I feel this might not be the best mixer for other types of content is mainly because there are a lot of audio interfaces out there today, and a lot of them targeted towards a certain demographic. Like this one for me feels more targeted towards podcasters than anybody else, where devices like the GoXLR and the WaveXLR are more targeted towards streamers. Now, for example, if you are a live streamer, you might want to have different audio sources split up so you can control all of their volumes separately. For example, your mic, your game, your Discord call, your music, whatever else you have playing in the background, you might want to have all of them separate and be able to control all of their audio sources separately so you can have a more balanced stream and a more balanced audio experience for your viewers. Now, since the RodeCaster Pro only has two different audio sources, your mic and your virtual sound, it really makes it difficult to have multiple different sources. Whereas with the GoXLR and the WaveXLR, you have a bunch of different audio sources you can split, and you can even control them separately via faders or via the volume knob. Now, the WaveXLR also got a really cool update recently where you can add EQ and effects to any of your audio sources, meaning that you can add compression to any source, so it makes it easier to control the volume of any of your sources, whether that's Discord calls, music, your game, whatever it is, making it really good for live experiences since you don't always have control over how loud the next item is going to be. Now, of course, if you are a couple streamer, for example, who needs more than one mic input, the RodeCaster Pro can still be a really good option, but there's also other options out there like the Focusrite Scarlett, who also has more than one input. So if you're looking for something that has more than one mic input, this could still be the device for you, but there's also other devices out there. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you're looking for an audio interface, buy the one that fits your needs and not just one that looks cool or that everybody else is actually using. Now, overall, the RodeCaster Pro is an amazing audio interface. It feels good, it sounds good, it has a lot of capabilities to make amazing content, not just for podcasts, but for streams and general content as well. Yes, the RodeCaster Pro, in my opinion, is the best audio interface for podcasts. And I really do believe that even if you're just starting out a podcast and this is something that you really want to do, I would suggest really saving up a little bit more, buying the RodeCaster Pro and having the perfect audio interface from the get-go without you having to go and upgrade down the line or buy a cheap USB mic and really having bad quality audio just because you didn't want to save a little bit more. Now, of course, you don't have to go out and buy this if you have a podcast. There are a lot of other audio interfaces that do the job really well, especially if you have more than one mic, if you're looking to have guests, or if you're just more than one person who actually has the podcast. This is really a good audio device. You have other features as well that are really cool. And yes, it may be a little bit more expensive than audio interfaces, but it really is worth the money. Now, I would suggest that if you're picking up the RodeCaster Pro, to pick up a Rode mic as well, something like the Rode Podmic or the Rode ProCaster, as both of those mics are really good, but in my opinion, the Rode Podmic is probably the best mic to price ratio there is. And that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Also, if you have any questions on this audio interface or any of the other ones mentioned, or you just want to ask me questions about audio interfaces in general, leave them down in the comment section below or by reaching out on any of my social media platforms. I really like to help you guys out and try and answer all of your questions. And if you're looking to buy any of the audio interfaces or mics as mentioned, I've left links down in the description below. Those are affiliate links, which means I do get a little bit of kickback, which do help grow the channel. So if you use those links to buy anything, thank you very much. And then, as always, cheers.